a try. So if you need to make corrections, go for it. I'm not gonna look. NI, PV, PMT. And I think before I start solving, I will just take you back to your booklet. Where you can find all this information. What is what? And that's found on page 34. Okay? Just a reminder, like what are these things that we're entering? This is probably this is a study sheet entry, right? N is the total number of compounding periods. It's always time in years times PY. This is on page 34, right? Interest rate, just enter it as a percentage. PV is the present value. It's an investment or loan. There's no initial deposit. PV is equal to 0. PMT is the value of the regular payment. Like it's actually the dollar amount of that regular payment that you're making throughout the investment. If there are no regular contributions, payment is just set to 0. Future value is how much you have at the end of the investment, okay, or the loan. For loans, we set this for 0, but right now we don't have to worry about loans. This one here, this is very important to get this one right. Payments per year. If there are no deposits or payments made, PY is equal to CY. In other words, if payment is 0, if you determine that that is 0, PY will be exactly the same as CY. If payment has actually a value other than 0 in it, then you have to look, what is the question telling you? How many payments are you making in a year? Is it monthly, weekly, bi-weekly? What is it? And then you put that in here. Compounding periods are always given by the question as well, so you're just going to have to read carefully, okay? So, let's do that AC. In my particular case, Anna wants to buy Sven a new horse for 1 year. She invests $95 every month. So this is your payment, your contribution, the $95 a month. It's happening on a regular interval, okay? So we go to our payment here and say, well, we're putting away $95 a month. Maybe I went too fast. Maybe I should have just started at the bottom like I always do. Compounding periods per year, semi-annually. So that is 2. A lot of you said, oh, well, then this is 2 as well. Not in this case, because the payment is not 0. It says every month. So it's 12 times a year. Monthly. Monthly payments, right? I'm just going to write it down on the AC there. That's why. Future value is what I want to know. I would like to determine the future value. I don't know that. Present value. This is the one that a lot of you were struggling with too. This is 0. There's no initial amount. Like we're not starting off with $500 and then $95 a month. So if it doesn't say explicitly, we think it's 0. You start with 0, you open your account, and then they set it up that $95 goes in there every month, okay? Interest rate is 6.5. N is 1 times whatever PY is, so that's 12. And now we have everything we need to solve. So state PY is 12. State CY is 2. State N is 12. Determine the future value. We can solve here. And if you do that, it's 11. It's 1174.12. Okay, that's what the future value is. If you just want to leave it there, make sure you have a dollar sign because your final answer needs to have a dollar sign. Determine the amount of interest she made during the year. How much interest was earned? Yeah, this is very crowded here, but I can make this work. So future value is right there. I will use this one. Sum of interest from the very first till the very last. And the last is n. If you want all of the interest, just go look at n. It's going to be 12. Or you just go, how many years are we talking about? 1 times py, which is 12. So regardless, in this case, it's 1 to 12. And you get $34.12. So not a whole lot. Okay. Could you have used the formula here? What formula are you talking about, Mr. Dirksen? I gave you this one. I is equal to. I'm going to go look it up so I give it to you the exact same way that you actually have it, or else I will confuse you, right? Total interest, it's called TI. You take your future value minus the present value minus n times whatever the payment is. So you're essentially taking your future value, which is 1174.12. I hope you can see this. Minus, what is my present value? 0, right? Minus, n is 12, right? So you have 12 payments of $95. So that is 1174.12 minus 12 times 95 is, I don't even know that right now. That's 1140. And if you think about it, if you see that, that's 34.12. So either way works if you want the total amount of interest. If you don't want all of it, like it could have said, like, how about the first 6 months? Then you would have gone from 1 to 6 to figure out how much interest the first 6 months. Okay, that's why sum of interest is a better tool. And so that's how you do that. What about 6? If the horse costs $1,200, what interest rate would she need in order to have enough money at the end of the year? This is another TVM solver question, folks. So I'm going to do that on the back side. I used to just put this one up on the screen and students would do it on loose leaf. That's why I don't leave you a lot of room in this one. But then I realized a lot of students got the numbers wrong because they kept on looking up and then back down, up and down. So that's why I just printed this for you. So let's take this to the back side. And it's a scenario. Remember, TVM Solver is a very powerful tool that allows you to answer what-if questions. What if this? What if that were to happen? So basically what this is saying is if the compounding stays the same, everything stays the same, but I want my future value to be $1,200. Okay? Horse price. So if the horse is $1,200, then that's what we want, right? Your payment is still $95 a month. You started with 0. We're still talking about 12 and being 12, but now we're wondering, what is the interest rate that I would need to achieve this goal? It needs to be higher than what it is currently. So that's all. So basically you go over here, you go apps, TVM, that's that, 0, -95, oh sorry, 1200, 12, and watch how it changes CY. So you got to make sure CY is not the same. You go to interest, alpha, enter, and you need an interest rate of 11.39%. Okay? 11.3 needed. Okay? To achieve the goal. Let's go to back to the main. And here it is, B. $1,200 was invested at 6% for 6 years, compounded quarterly. What type of graph would this investment produce? Exponential, yeah. An exponential curve. How do you know? Because of the compounding, okay? So to make my point even stronger, I would say it would look like that. State the value of PY. You know what? I will do my math first here. I will do my TVM solver and then I will answer that. And perhaps you should do the same. Future value, PY, CY. And I don't know why, but I think it's easier to start from the bottom. Compounded quarterly, so this is 4. Let me ask you, are there any payments here? On a regular? No, it doesn't say. So 4. Future value, that's probably what they're going to ask me for. Determine the value of the investment at maturity. That's the one thing I need to figure out. Because there are no payments, I turn that into 0. Present value is the 1,200. It's that one-time sum you put in. 6% interest. And what is N? N is the number of years, which is 6, times whatever PY is, which is 4. There you have it. So let's answer this question. State the value of PY. PY is 4. State the value for N. N is 24. Determine the value of the interest at maturity. I'm going to go arrow to future value here. If you do that right, you get 1715.40. 1715.40 is how much you will have accumulated. Determine the amount of interest earned. I like this one. And what will I put down if I want the total interest, guys? 1, 2. What goes here? Go look at your N. Right? You'll put down the 24 in here. Or 6 years times PY, which is also 24. If you do that, you get 515 and 40 cents. What is the approximate doubling time? What do we use for that, guys? The rule of 72. If I ask you for the approximate, I will do T is 72 divided by 6. That's 12, right? 12 years. The rule of 72 is what we use there. Kelly has $5,000 at the end of the 4-year investment. She originally invested in a savings account earning 3.25% simple interest. I equals PRT. Do I know how much interest I've earned? Do I? I don't know that. Do I know how much I started with? My principal was? I also don't know that. I know that my rate is 0.0325, right? 3.25 divided by 100. I know that time is in years, and it's 4. Make sure it's in years. If you're missing 2, you can't use this formula. You can't use I equals PRT. You have to use this one. That one is the one you have to use. Can I do this here? I'm going to take this over here. And it's asking me what's the original amount invested. They're asking for principal. That's what they're asking for. So we know that A is 5,000. P is unknown to me. 1 plus the rate times the time, which is 4 years. Let's clean up whatever's inside the brackets, shall we? 0.0325 times 4 plus 1, that's 113. All of this is just 1.13. Divide both sides by 113. The principal is 4,424 and 78 cents. This is question 13, by the way. Determine the amount of interest earned. Recall that the future value is always principal plus interest. I have the future amount. I have the principal. I can figure out what I is. Right, I'm just going to subtract. Cancel. You end up with 575.22. And if you answer this one right, you get a free snack on your way out. What type of graph would this investment produce? Linear, right? Linear. Okay. Unless you're at home watching this, then you don't get a snack. But you can still give me